James Byrd Jr. was murdered by 3 white supremacists in Jasper, Texas on June 7, 1998. Sean Berry, Lawrence Brewer, and John King dragged Byrd for 3 miles behind a pickup truck along an asphalt road. Byrd, who remained conscious for much of his ordeal, was killed about halfway through the dragging when his body hit the edge of a culvert, severing his right arm and head. The murderers drove on for another 1.5 miles before dumping Byrd's torso in front of a black church and cemetery in the outskirts of Jasper. Brewer, King were the first white men to be sentenced to death for killing a black person in the history of modern Texas. Byrd's lynching by dragging gave impetus to passage of a Texan hate crimes law, which later led to passage by Congress of the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act, commonly known as the Matthew Shepard Act, in 2009. Brewer was executed by lethal injection for his involvement in his crime by the state of Texas on September 21, 2011. King was executed by lethal injection at the state penitentiary in Huntsville, Texas on April 24, 2019. Berry was sentenced to life imprisonment and will be eligible for parole in 2038. Currently, right now, I am in the outskirts of Jasper, Texas. Very barren right here. This place actually just got a paved road not too long ago. Back in the day, it was a dirt road, and this is the exact road where James Byrd Jr. was drugged. By this point, he was already dead. And as the 3 individuals drug James Byrd Jr.'s corpse, they stopped at this church right here, predominantly black Baptist church. Now, it looked different back in the day. It's been rebuilt, not because of what occurred, but it was the church, of course, getting new members in the congregation and just simply needing a bigger structure. And it was right here where they jumped out of the vehicle, unchained the rest of James Byrd Jr.'s corpse, and threw it right in front of this church right here for it to be found the next day. The absolute horror of this attack is unreal, and the poor person who had to find his remains in that condition is just it's just vile. This was a horrible murder. So currently right now, we're gonna go take a drive, I say about 7.5 miles. We're gonna go to the Jasper City Cemetery to go visit the grave of James Byrd Jr. And currently now we are at the Jasper City Cemetery, and we're here to visit the grave, of course, of the victim in this horrible murder, James Byrd Jr. And this is his grave right here. Simply just says, "My beloved son." And then his name right there, James Byrd Jr. Absolutely one of the worst murders I've ever read in my life. Can you imagine, guys, just think about it for a minute. Can you imagine you're being drugged behind a truck and you're trying to keep your head up as you're being drugged at 40 miles an hour? Simply just to give up and you're dead. Going through that much pain and suffering. A very disgusting murder. And thankfully one of the killers was executed and another one will be executed very shortly. And this, I believe, here is his mother and father. The father doesn't show a date of death, so I don't know if he's still alive or not. He would be turning about 96 if he is. Okay, guys. That is about it for now. Rest in peace to James Byrd Jr. And just a tragedy to say the least. All right, guys. Live but not live, but still alive by the grace of God. I am at the Jasper City Cemetery. Thank you for watching my video. I always appreciate it, and you guys know this very much so. I'll see you later on the next vlog. Peace out.